Hello, this screencast is aimed at people who make a lot of highlights in Kindle books and want to be able to export those highlights to another format. So like, for example, I like to put my highlights in Evernote on each book. That way I can just keep them in a different place other than my Kindle library. Unfortunately, when you cut and paste from Amazon, you end up with like a lot of extra text. And it doesn't really paste very well. So, I can hit copy and it's going to be, you're going to see a lot of extra stuff. You're going to see read more at this location. You're going to see delete this highlight, add a note. In the cases of notes, you're going to get an edit button. You probably don't want that stuff in there. It looks disorganized and sometimes can screw up your formatting. So what I recommend is using a tool called TextSoap. TextSoap basically is a utility that allows you to quickly clean up text. So for my Kindle highlights, actually to create a custom highlighter, you won't always have to do that when you want to clean up text. So I'm going to show you my custom highlighter, or my custom Kindle cleaner. And then I'm going to show you how I built it so that you can create your own. So when I press Kindle highlights, it's going to quickly select that. Now when I press it again, you're going to see that I've applied all these rules and a lot of that stuff has already been removed. So when I now cut and paste it, or when I copy and paste it into Evernote, it's a much cleaner looking set of highlights. This can be really, really useful if you just want to be if you're just like me and you kind of like to put order to this kind of stuff. This can be really, really helpful. Unfortunately, deleting, going through and sanitizing a lot of highlights like that can be really, really painful and slow. And so the best thing to do is to use something like TextSoap. But the question is, how do you create a custom cleaner that can do that? So fortunately, you have a really, really easy drag and drop interface for creating that kind of thing. So I'm going to create a new thing. I'm just going to call it Kindle to highlights. And the nice part about it, their custom cleaner builder, it's all drag and drop. So you have all of this right here. Generally, I tend not to go through and scroll and find. I just filter my actions. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do a bulk find and replace. So a bulk find and replace text. I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to add plus. I like to keep the location link, but I like to shorten it. So if you go look right here, I don't want it to say read more at location 82. All I want it to say is loc : and then whatever it is. So what I do is I find read more at location, and then for spacing I add a space and loc and another space, and that will take care of that. So the next thing I want to get rid of is this delete this highlight. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to type in delete this highlight, and I'm just going to leave this space blank. So when you leave it blank, it just deletes it. So I've got one more thing in there, and that's add a note. I don't really want to have that in my notes, and so I'm going to put add a note and leave that blank. So right there, I've done quite a bit to just clean it up. But there's a few other things I'd like to take care of. So if you go back into, go into your own page, if you'll notice on, let me find a note. A note. Okay. So if I copy this, you're going to notice I have this edit button. The problem with edit is a really common word. Fortunately, there's conditional cleaners in TextSoap that you can apply to help take care of that. So let me go back to my custom cleaner, to my edit cleaners, and go up there. And so what I want to do is I want if text has attribute. conditional. If text has attribute, and I want to say link, then because it's a conditional and you can see it starts here and then ends there, I can add as many different cleaners as I want. But in this case, I just need to do an easy find and replace. So I'm just going to put that in there. I'm going to type in edit. I have several options. So, I mean, I can look at my, this is my history of other things I've put in there. You can use regular expressions if you know how to use those, string matching options. You can ignore the case, however you want to do it. You can even, put in new stuff. So, so in this case, I'm just going to leave it blank, and then that's the end of the conditional. Now, I just generally like to add some cleaners as well. So if you look in this cleaner section, you can do things like rewrap text, quote text, things like that. That can be really, really helpful, convert to internet-friendly text. But I just generally do some pretty easy stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't show you the full cleaner thing because it's a very, very long group. I like to remove extra spaces. I like to remove all tabs. I generally like to make my ellipsis 3 dashes. Oh, I'm sorry. I like to do the reverse. I like to take 3 periods and turn it into an ellipses. And I also like to take 2 hyphens and turn it into an em dash. So those are just some things I can do. You can do all kinds of things, fix quotes, I'll throw in, how about smarten quotes, straighten quotes, and you have a lot of options in here. So you can build pretty complex cleaners if you need to. So now I have that. So I have Kindle 2 highlights, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to just throw in a few notes. I'm going to throw in some notes and some other stuff. Paste that in there. And then I press this, and obviously you don't see anything happening because, first of all, it's just selecting the text. So you've got to press it a second time. And then there you go. It's cleaned up. It's cleaned up everything as the cleaner specified. So now I can just take this, and I have a nice little thing. I have it nicely converted, nicely formatted to put into Evernote or into whatever program I need to put it into. So this is a pretty powerful program. This only scratches the surface, but if you make a lot of highlights and you want to keep them in a specific format, but you don't want to have to painstakingly clean each quote by hand, this is a really, really, really convenient way to do it. This is a paid program, but if this is something you do all the time, it will save you so much time that it will be worth every dollar. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope you learned something new today. Take care. Bye.